Hi, this tutorial will show you how to set up your document for a writing assignment in Modern Language Association writing style, or MLA format. The first thing to do is open up Microsoft Word. This is version 2010, and we'll move from this Home tab over to the Page Layout tab. That's the fourth over from the left. And then we'll go down to the Page Setup icon that's right here at the bottom of that ribbon. And we'll bring up page setup margins, and you can see that we have 2.54 centimeters for both the top and bottom margin, but we have 3.17 centimeters for the other ones, and that is incorrect, so we have to change those to 2.54, and then those will now be correct. It's also a good idea to double check the orientation and make sure that it's on portrait and not landscape. And that is correct, so we can move on now from here to the paper setting and make sure that it's not set on letter. This is common in North America, but it's not so common here, so we need to change that to A4. Now those are all set correctly. We don't need to worry about layout or document grid. Just go back here, double check the margins, and then click on OK. Another thing you could do too, if you want to make sure that it will always have these same settings for future margins, is set those as the default. Here is the button for set as default, so you can click on it and say yes to the question, so that in the future all your documents will come up with these page layout settings that are in compliance with the MLA format. Now let's go over to the Home tab and make some changes here. We have to look at the font, and here is the section of the ribbon called Font. We'll click on the icon, and we need to change the font from this plus body or Calibri style to Times New Roman. The easiest way to find Times New Roman is just to type it in, and it will come up fairly quickly. Oh, not in this case. It's going to be difficult, isn't it? So there, finally. I just clicked on the scroll button and it did finally pop up. So there it is there. This is a very good font for MLA format, and so I strongly recommend that you just use this one all the time. Some of the other fonts do not clearly show the difference between regular and italicized style, and that is not a good thing, so that's why I always recommend sticking with this one. It doesn't look very pretty, but it does serve the purpose for an academic writing assignment. The next thing to do is change the size from size 11 to 12. And once that is done, you can click on OK and then go back and tell it to make this the default. If you try to set the default immediately, it won't work. But we'll set it now and it will work, and we can make it so that it goes with all documents, not just this one, but all future documents, by clicking OK, and then it's good to go for all future documents. The next thing to do is go to the paragraph menu, which is right here, and click on the icon for that. And the first thing you should notice is the alignment. Now in this case it is set on the correct setting, which is left. You always must have it on left. If it's on centered, right, justified, or distributed, you will get a fail for MLA format. Okay, then we need to double check the line spacing, because every MLA formatted document must be in double spacing. Here you see something called multiple at 1.15, and this is incorrect. So click on the drop down and find where it says double, that means double spacing, and select it. Okay, so now we have double spacing selected. There's one more thing that needs to be done, and that is here where it says before and after spacing. This one here should always be on 0. Otherwise, Microsoft Word will automatically put a bunch of spaces in after each paragraph, and that is not in compliance with the MLA format. Okay, so I'm going to click on this as OK and go back and now say to do it as the default setting, and we'll make that for all documents in the future also. Okay, so there we go. Every time Microsoft Word opens up, it will be on these settings, and you don't have to worry about those in the future. Now, we've done the paragraph settings, the next stage is to insert a header. And that is done very simply by going to the Insert tab. That's the third one over from the left. And then where it says Header, don't click there. No, no, no. We'll go to where it says Page Number, and then it will allow us to set a header with a page number that's done automatically. Go to where it says Top of Page, and then we'll select plain number 3, because the page number will be in exactly the right position for MLA formatting, and there you see it is there on the top right. And there's the page number. Now what you need to do just before that page number is type your family name. So if your family name is Kim, just type K-I-M and space. Okay, notice it's an uppercase K or capital K for your family name. All names should start with capital letters. Okay, and remember to leave this space in between your name and the page number, and then that's it. The header is done. So to get out of this header, we just put our cursor down below the dotted line and double click, and we're ready to go now with what's called the heading. Okay, you need to have a heading in every writing assignment that you turn in, and basically it just requires this information. First, you have to give your full name. That's your family name plus your given name. And of course, we follow with the Western word order, which is given name first and then family name last. So if your given name was Dehan and family name is Kim, then that's how you would type it. Okay, press the Enter key and put in your student ID number. Okay, so I've just put a fake one in there. The next thing to do is press the Enter key and put in the instructor's name. Please spell it correctly, it's on your syllabus. Then you put the name of the course. Okay, that could be BAE 10029 or something like that, or it could be a PAE course, or it could be any other course. Just look up the shortened course name on your syllabus and put it there near the bottom of your heading. The next thing is the date, and the format is day, month, year. So if this was September 3rd, we'd go 3 September 2012. And that's all you need for the heading in your writing assignments. Now the next thing is you press the Enter key one time like I just did, and then put your title in. Now to make the title centered, all you need to do is go up to the Center Text button, press it one time, and then you can type your title. Now I'll type a title called How to Format a Paragraph. That's kind of what this tutorial is about. Notice that we have capital letters or uppercase letters like the H and the F and the P. And these letters are in the most important words. How, format, and paragraph are important words, but little ones like to and a are not so important. Therefore, they stay in lowercase. They do not need to be capitalized. Now, with titles, you do not need to underline them. You do not put them in bold. You do not do anything to change them. Just leave them like you see right here. After you've done your title, press the Enter key one time. We don't need extra space. And then go over to the Align Text Left button, click on it, and you are now ready to go to begin typing your actual paragraph. Your very first keystroke will be a tap on the Tab key. That's T-A-B key. It's on the left side of the keyboard. I'm going to tap mine now. And you see how it moved in the cursor by about ½ an inch or 1.27 centimeters. That's called an indent, and that is necessary at the first sentence of every paragraph that you write. Now I'll begin typing the first sentence. This is the first sentence of the paragraph, period. How creative, right? Anyway, you see how I typed the period at the end of the sentence and then I pressed the space bar one time, and then I can begin with the next sentence. This is the second sentence. I know my imagination is overwhelming. Now I'll press the space bar one more time and continue typing. Please note that it is written immediately after the first sentence, period. Okay, so now we have 3 sentences done. Let's do one more. You do not, not need to start a new sentence on a new line. Did you notice how I kept right on typing and did not stop when I got to the end of the line? That happened for both the first line and the second line because the computer does the word wrapping for you. You don't have to press the enter key at any point while you're typing your sentences. Let me continue. And you don't have to press the enter key when you get to the end of a line. Okay, so this was just to demonstrate how the word wrap works, and also to let you see how the double spacing looks when it's done correctly. If you want to double check and make sure that it's on the correct spacing, you can always go up here and press on this little button, and there you see the check mark beside the 2. And if it were on the default setting, the print would look like this, or if it were on triple setting, it would look like that. Anyway, we'll leave it right there on double spacing, and that's it. The rest of this tutorial will show you some common mistakes and how to avoid them. Now, to do that, I'm going to just switch over to another document that was prepared by a student who didn't watch this tutorial. Okay, and here you can see that this student did not do double spacing. It's all single spaced, and here is a common way that some of these students try to correct this mistake. They will put their cursor at the end of a line and press the enter key, and then they'll go to the next line and do the same thing again and again and again, hoping that it does some kind of creation, or simulation I should say, of double spacing. Now you see it does create problems when you get to a certain place, such as the main paragraph. Every time I hit the enter key it does something weird. Okay, so this is a very common mistake. It's much better to just do double spacing the way I showed you in the tutorial, and now because you're watching this tutorial, I know that that will not happen. So let's go back now and show you some other common mistakes. We'll leave it on the single spacing version just because it's good for a laugh, if nothing else. And one other common mistake is turning in papers that have spelling mistakes. You can see the word sentence is misspelled here. The word paragraph is also misspelled. Plus there's a few other mistakes that are hard to detect even when you use a spell checker. Now, I think sometimes those mistakes occur because students honestly don't know how to use the spell checker, so I'll show that now, just how you can use the spell checker in Microsoft Word. The first thing that you can do is turn it on, and one way of turning it on is going up to File, this is in Microsoft Word 2010, and then down to where it says Options, click on Options, and you see this box come up, and then you go to where it says Proofing, and then you can go down to where it has all these different settings for dictionaries and spell checking, and this box here needs to be checked so that it will check the spelling as you type. So I'll turn that on and click OK, and now suddenly you can see the spell checker is working. Of course, there's nothing wrong with the name Dehan, so what I can do here is just right-click and then tell it to ignore that word because there's really nothing wrong with it. Now the word sentence obviously is a spelling mistake, so we'll right-click, and there you see it there. Just select it and it corrects that mistake. Here's the word paragraph, and we'll fix that by doing the same thing. Now here it gives you some choices, so you have to use your head. Don't select paragraphs because that would be plural and we want singular, so I'm going to take the top one, paragraph. Okay, so that's a couple of spelling mistakes that have been corrected, but there are more. And this again is where you do have to use your head. The computer can only do so much, and you have to be smarter than it. So let's continue just reading through this quickly. This is the second sentence. Please not. That's not a common expression. Ah, yes, the word not should be note. And you see the spell checker doesn't know that. So I have to add the letter E to not myself, and now it is note. Now just checking through further, there's one other mistake just like this one. And you can see it right about here. You do not need TWO. That's the number 2. We don't want that, so you have to fix it by hitting the backspace key or whatever. And now the problem is solved. Okay, so there you've just seen how to turn on the spell checker and let it do most of the spell checking for you, but you also need to use your head. By the way, an alternative method of turning on the spell checker is just to go to the Review tab. It's about the 7th one over from the left. Click on it, and there you'll find the spell checker right there on the first button on the left, and it'll do your spell checking for you from there also. Either way will work. One last thing to show you is how not to do the tab or the indent with your document. Remember in the tutorial I showed you to just press the tab key one time to get your perfect indent. Well, unfortunately, sometimes students don't know about that and they do this. Bang, 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 bang several times on the space bar. And no, that is not a proper indent. So please avoid doing that. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm just going to put it back into double-spaced format and everything else very quickly, just as a quick review. Of course, we'll put that indent back in there correctly. And now I'm going to hit Control-A. That highlights everything in the entire document, and I'll change it back to double spacing, which is where it should always be. And I want to very quickly just show you again that we should not ever use this button here because it makes this straight edge on the right side, which looks good but really hurts the eyes if you're reading a lot of papers. So please turn that one off, and then you'll be making the MLA format people happy, and of course your instructor will likewise be pleased. That's it. That's everything you need to know on how to set up a Microsoft Word document for MLA format for basic academic writing. Now, to summarize, go to the Page Layout tab when you first open your Microsoft Word document and set your margins to 2.54 centimeters all the way around. Also, make sure that your document is in portrait orientation and not landscape. Make sure that your paper size is set to A4. After the Page Layout tab, then you should go to the Home tab and change the font style to Times New Roman and set it to size 12. You'll find that on the Font menu. Also change the alignment to left alignment and set your line spacing to double, and then set the after spacing to 0, as you'll find in the Paragraph menu. Then go to your Insert tab, and from there you can create a header using the Page Number tab. Don't forget to select Top of Page and plain number 3. Then you can type your family name and one space in front of the page number to create your header. The next step is to go to your Home tab and create your heading. The heading includes the following information: your full name, your student ID number, your instructor's name, the course name, and the current date in date, month, year format. And don't forget to just look up the information you need on spelling and course name in your syllabus. Next, you should create your title on the very next line with no extra space, and capitalize the important words. Do not use bold, underline, italics, or anything else to enhance your title. Finally, use the Tab key to indent the first line and begin typing your paragraph. While you're typing, remember to capitalize only proper nouns, that is, names, and the first word of every sentence. Also, use both the spell checker and your own knowledge to achieve perfect spelling. And those are the basics for getting started with your writing assignments in MLA format. Now, there are some common mistakes that you should avoid. To get a good mark, you should avoid pressing the Enter key to simulate double spacing. Avoid not using the spell checker and a dictionary to correct spelling mistakes. Sometimes the spell checker assumes a certain word, but you need to use your head and override what the spell checker is suggesting. Also, you should avoid not using the Tab key to create an indent, but instead banging on the space bar. That just creates more trouble if you need to do some cutting and pasting somewhere in the future when you're editing your document. You should avoid leaving the Justify setting turned on and forgetting to double space the entire document. Also, to make sure you get a good mark, you really should avoid not following the steps exactly as shown in this tutorial, or not watching the tutorial at all and using the sample paragraph to try and fake it. The most important thing is, avoid not asking questions during the peer editing session or at any other time. Your peers and your instructor are there to help you as you are there to sometimes help them. And that's what it's all about. The writing process can actually be a fun and enjoyable one. And so thank you very much for taking the time to go through this tutorial. Hopefully it will help you to now submit all your future writing assignments with a sense of confidence and optimism. Happy writing!